Here's another reason why you want to take control of what you're doing.
Everything kind of funnels into the only winning move is not to play the game.
I don't know, guys. This whole thing sounds pre-recorded.
For those of you who are tuning in on our Patreon page, you are listening to bonus content right now because you are the first ones to get episode 51 of the Weather Report. Want to welcome you here to episode 51 of the Weather Report. And we just, we're having a good time here. It's just four of us. The four of us are going to sit here for an hour and kind of just go back and forth with stuff that Ken has been doing the last week or so. He's been compiling a bunch of videos and pictures and interviews and stuff that he did at the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction. And if you're familiar with Barrett-Jackson, they do an auto auction practically every weekend, and you can see those on your various cable channels and stuff like that. But one thing I want to say before we get started is like, share, and subscribe to this podcast if you find it anywhere entertaining. And we are the Weather Report. You can also get a Weather Report mug for $25 if you want to go to horribledesigns.com. That's horribledesigns.com if you want to get anything like stuff like this. We got the I'm willing to be unreasonable. You can get a Weather Report mug. You maybe be able to buy Christian up there and get him a haircut. But yeah, he's got that new haircut going on. He's going to be featured on what is that? The only dadbodsfans.com. Is that right?
Onlydadbodfans.com.
There we go. You can go see Christian on there. But then we got Jason from Horrible Designs up there on right there on the top. But yeah, welcome guys. How's it going?
It's going good so far, wouldn't you say?
It's been a long week. It's been a long week, and we're still wearing the same clothes. Yeah.
I can smell it from here, and I'm only 60 miles away.
It's amazing. Ken, what you been doing, man? You took a big trip down
America,
down America. You've been traveling America again.
America. I went to the Rich White Guy car show. I went to Barrett-Jackson, but really, it's a celebration of all things Americana that's based around the automobile. And the after World War II, the automobile, the roads, the interstates, the growth of the suburbs changed this country completely, and in fact changed the world. And it was all based here. So this is a huge celebration of that. People don't usually look at it as that, as the history of it. They see it on TV and see someone spending $3 million on a freaking Dodge Daytona that's worth $60,000, and it's and like, wow, this is crazy. Look at the lunacy, the money people have. Well, they're buying history. They're buying moments in time. Yeah, you've got speculators that go down to this show and buy cars and they'll bring them back 2 years later trying to make another $50,000 on them or something. And they do that. But really, for me, you go down there and it's the whole automotive scene in the United States wrapped up in one show. It's 9 days long, this one. Like you said, they have
9 days, really?
Yeah, so it starts on Saturday and it goes all the way through the next Sunday.
Wow.
And they're auctioning one after another. So they went through 18 or 1900 cars. 1,900 cars auctioned off. This is a lot. So it's a huge thing. I don't know how many acres it is. I want to say it's close to the size of like the Minnesota Fairgrounds. So it's a couple hundred square acres that they're taking up, and with vendors and people, and you can go and find out about the cars and stuff on it all over the place. But let me just walk you through some of what I saw. We'll just go like this. So this is the door walking in, right as you come in the front door there. And then I'm just going to burn through some of these cars. It's my son.
First of all, where was this held at?
Scottsdale at it's a place called Westworld. So it's kind of in the northeastern part of Scottsdale. Mm-hmm. And I got my mom, who's 93, lives right down, within 20 minutes of there. So it was nice because we could just zoom in and out. Huge place. I'll tell you what, this place was so well run. I've been to a lot of huge events, and crowd control here was absolutely. I never had to wait in line. for anything. I mean, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a place to buy a cocktail, a beer, or something to eat.
Yeah.
The only thing they didn't have much of was a place to charge my phone. And after doing 6 videos with microphones and everything, my phone just about went dead. But I figured that out. So as you walk in, the first thing you see is the big sponsor. So Lexus is there, and you can see this is just the row of supercars in the first. So you can kind of get the idea of the size of the tent. This tent goes on for forever, right? There was like 8 or 9 of these tents. Just
Wow.
So as you're looking through, you're seeing some supercars, a Porsche 959 there, some red car in front that no one cares about. More important things, the twin mill. This was a Hot Wheels car from the 70s. And then
I remember that one. Yeah.
look right next to it. I mean, there's a $5 million 300 SL, beautiful build. Some of the best builders put their stuff in there. The Trump Porsche, of course, I thought that was pretty cool. That had not a lot of Biden folks down there, as it turns out.
No.
But
What's happened?
This car sold for $600,000 or $300,000. This one sold for $300,000. There was another one that sold.
Is that
for
the
$600,000.
Kennedy? Is that the Kennedy limit?
Yeah. You can still see the bloodstains
okay.
on the back. But that was a gorgeous car. Then right next to it was this thing. This absolutely near perfect Mark II. That car right there was $10,000 in 1957. That's much as a Rolls Royce. When a new Chevy Bel Air was $2,500, that was $10,000. Lincoln Continental. Aston Martins, a little bit of everything. The Lincoln, this is just the Lincoln booth. And they were showing off their new stuff. This was something here. This is actually the back of a Hummer, like an actual, military Hummer. 4-wheel steering. If you can't really see deep into that engine there, but it's a supercharged LSX motor with all hand welded stuff together. So there's a better shot of what it looks like. And some more Lincoln stuff.
Every time I drove a Hummer, I thought this thing needs a wing on the back.
That's what it needs. It needs a big wing that says shit on it, So, and just going through, this was the Lincoln, I'm in the Lincoln Club, so we get a bunch of things, but I talked to a lot of the artists, and that was one of the things that I really enjoyed doing as I was going through, because I'm considering actually going down there and displaying. There's Tom Fritz. We'll show a little video of him first. He's one of my mentors. And then this is a Rachel Dory. I put a video out on her a little while back that you saw, Bruce. You said you really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. I think she's a real awesome artist. I liked everything that you had pictures of that I saw, just because it's all kind of landscapey stuff, man. It's just for some reason it hit me. I don't know.
It hit you when they're big. I mean, she was a tall gal. She's as tall as I was, so she's 5'10", 5'11", somewhere there, and so you can give you an idea of scale of the size of that picture.
Wow. Okay.
So she's short. For Bruce and I, she's short.
But there was all kinds of weird stuff there too. The
Scoob,
the mystery mobile, right? Is that what it was called?
Ruh-roh. Yeah, it's a
machine.
My wife would know that.
And then there's some weird stuff like
the
this.
Green Hornet car that looked like the Green Hornet car. Right?
No, this is just some pimp custom Lincoln.
Okay.
Look at this ridiculous thing. And these are the tents outside. So there was 7 of these tents that were about 200 feet long. That right there, that's a 1950 Jaguar XK120. Absolutely a gorgeous, one of the most beautiful cars, right next to a 57 Chevy. I mean, look at what cars were, And then this is, as you go inside there, this is being auctioned off right now. This is a Camaro that was up to 110. I think it went for 137 by the time it was done. But there's the crowd. So this is the auction room. You don't really notice it that much on the TV coverage. It is enormous. It holds thousands and thousands of people.
And real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
Could you get credentials yourself to be a part of the auction, or did you have to prove you had the money or something like that?
Oh yeah, no, you can go in there and do it. That's no problem at all. It's $500 to go in the room. You can start bidding, and there's I'm sure there's credentials when you get into bidding over $500,000.
Yeah,
but basically you have a credit card, and they just check your credit card, and you have to prove
before you go in.
Yep.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I'm just going to burn through some of these pictures because a lot of them are just kind of a lot of these Lincolns. Like I said, I'm doing a special write up for our Lincoln Club, so I've got a bunch of images of that. So, but this kind of stuff here, yes.
One thing that I want to touch on, you were showing what cars used to look like back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. Uh, they actually had design to them rather than just throwing a cardboard box onto a table and saying, okay, we're going to stick wheels on this and call it good.
Well, exactly. And it wasn't even the mundane cars, like this is not a mundane car. This is a 19, I think 24 Packard. That was about as far as mundane as you could get. It's a high-end car.
Mhm.
But, there's a Corvette, but even, we'll get into this here. I'll talk about this, but the Ford Falcons and the Dodge Darts all had style and lines on them. There was no reason, it doesn't cost any more to make something cool looking. And we've lost that. And the last cars that they tried to do that with, and you guys are gonna all laugh, but it makes sense. That's why it was so popular, was the PT Cruiser. Suddenly, you had an Econo shitbox that looked cool as hell, because when those cars came out, they looked really, really neat, and it didn't look like a Cavalier or a Dodge Neon or a Honda Civic. You knew what it was, kind of like this, which is what vampires drove in the '60s at the drag strip. This is Dragula, one of the original cars from the Munsters,
Mhm.
and of course that's the Munster Mobile.
Right.
In the Mystery Machine, and the Mach
Mark
1.
V.
Yeah,
Mark
the
V.
Mach 5. There's the Mach 5 and the Monkey Mobile.
Yep. Look at the blades.
Now are all these
Yes.
those are all
movie
copies
cars.
or originals, one and two, right?
Well, this one's the van and this one were made as promotional items. This is one of the Monkey Mobiles from the show, though.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
and they're numbered, of course, because like
Yeah.
I said, I think they had the either number 2 or number 3 Batmobile. Is that right?
Yeah, and George Barris built this. I mean, he built most of these cars. Remember the Batgirl's bike?
There's the Batgirl bike, yeah.
And Robin sat in the Batmobile. So, and this is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I mean,
Wow.
that's really Chitty Chitty Bang. Look at the people standing next to it.
That's the real Chitty Chitty Bang Bang right there.
Yeah, the top of that windshield was probably 7 feet in the air. It was enormous. Those are like 30-inch wheels, I think.
Did they have the wings come out on it by chance?
No, because it hurt a person really bad. You can see it kind of take you off right there. No, they didn't have all that stuff out there, but that was one of the cars. And my favorite movie car.
Oh, yeah.
From Animal House. Come on,
Yeah.
who doesn't want that?
Yep.
The Deathmobile.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie.
And this car was a complete toilet, but it's the one from the movie. I mean, it was cool because they just threw it together. If you remember watching Animal House, I mean, that was just one of the best parts of it, was that thing. This is the one that got $600,000. So $600,000 for that. This one, I think this one went for 150, 160, somewhere in there. So
Wow.
these old things, this one here was actually a deal. This went for 87 grand. It wasn't a fuel injected vet, but it's a 56, Corvette in the best colors ever put on a Corvette, on the best body ever put on a Corvette.
Yeah, I did see some going for some relatively low prices. Like, I tuned in one day where one of the C10s went up there and it was like $18,000. And I really kind of went like, what, really? But then you told me that you saw some C10s going for like 6 figures.
Yeah, they were well into the 6 figures.
Yeah.
But this is where you see stuff like this. So when I talk about moments in history, Shelby made the Cobra in '64. They made the 289 Shelby Cobra. And then in the early 2000s, well before he died, they made 50 Shelby Cobras. This is one of those 50 that's an actual, Shelby Cobra from the 2000s. It's real. It's a real deal. It's not a kit car. That's one of those. And, just to see one, I mean, they 50 of them. You never see them. This was cool. All right. Me and my big boats. Well, this is the great one, Jackie Gleason's limo from 1977.
Wow.
Wow.
And the license plate said "Great One."
That are on the audio, you're really missing out. I really encourage you to go over to YouTube or Rumble or someplace you can get the live video of this and watch it. But Ken's going to do the best he can to describe everything that he's doing here. But really, go over to YouTube or Rumble or X or something like that and go get this video or this live stream because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we got some cool pictures on here. So this is a Packard, a 1941 Packard. So imagine 1941. At the end of that year, we got attacked. So there were no 1942 cars. There were a few, but right then, all of the manufacturing turned into wartime manufacturing. They stopped building cars for 4 years. Packard made airplane engines, and they ended up making the Merlin and the the engines for the P-51 Mustang. But this was the last car they built, one of the last ones in 1941, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Tell me that's got like a 12-cylinder or something in it.
No, this is just a straight 8. This wasn't. This
Really?
was this was a straight 8. This one,
huge front end.
yeah, it's a straight 8. And then this one, this is was right in front of it. When the woman started that up to move it, you couldn't hear it. I mean, I'm literally standing right there, and she fires this up, and I couldn't hear it. And it wasn't because it was super loud and there was hot rods around. It was just
because you're super old.
No, it was these cars were built to such a level, these luxury cars from the 30s, that they were just impeccable, and you could keep them running because they were built to last. And this is one you could take that car right there. That's a I think this one had a 12 in it. You can roll that down the highway at 70, 75 now without a problem. I mean, you don't want to turn or stop, but you can go that fast comfortably. Right. And then getting back inside a little bit, I just took some more shots of what was there. So you see it's thinned out a little bit. All the supercars were going. This was Saturday afternoon, right as I was walking out, and they were all going up to auction at that point.
Gotcha.
So,
Christian, did you have something to say? I saw you had your hand up.
I saw a Blazer.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Blazers there.
The Blazer went for $270.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They started to talk about how crazy it was, and I thought, well, okay, but it looked nice.
It was I saw that one. I can't remember if it was the square body or just the earlier style, but there was 3 or 4 of them there that were completely ground up. It was a brand new vehicle. Yeah. And they're $250,000 cars. They're just amazing stuff.
Gosh. Yeah.
So with that, I think we can move over to, let me show you some of the artists we talked to. And I think I could start with, let's see, I didn't load that one. Let me put the one in here that you were talking about, Bruce, that you really liked. Bear with me just a second while I grab this for you. And this is Rachel Dory. And she is an artist. One of the cool things she did, and we'll show it, is she was taking scenes from movies and painting them. So when you walked into her booth, I was looking at it, I'm like, God damn, that's familiar. I'm like, I know that place, but I don't know that place. And she's like, and I'm looking at it, and you'll see it in the video. I'll tell you. There's one that
you're going.
Well, no, she thought it was great because she's like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying she comes in and everybody's going kind of like, like. Yeah, and she's just going like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, so this is Rachel Dory. I'll see if I get this on here. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit so it'll blast us out. And let's go with this.
But today, this is our first time displaying at Barrett-Jackson. And let's talk a little bit about this painting you're working on right now. It's a scene out of Bullet, which is, of course, fantastic. So tell us a little bit about you. Where are you from? How did you end up here instead of all these other art shows that you go to?
Well, I'm from Austin, Texas. I've been making art and selling my art for many years, but this is my first time at Barrett-Jackson. I saw a Jaguar restoration on the side of the road randomly.
I'm going to pause here because that Jaguar restoration she saw was a lightweight Jaguar XKE that was like one of 3 made. It's a multi-million-dollar car. And she just happened to be driving by the shop where it was parked outside, took a picture of it, did a painting of it. We'll see in a minute. But it was really a special car.
I didn't know what it was, and I painted it and then found out what a rare piece it had been. Sure. And it inspired me to paint more cars. So I was watching old movies to get inspired and found these scenes that I would have liked to paint anyway.
Yeah, so this is beautiful. So this is, a scene from the movie. She took is that a still from just a video or?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sure. And then
I crop in and find the spot that looks interesting to me. Like this one's an Alfred Hitchcock movie and just a parking lot behind.
Right.
This is Alfred Hitchcock movie right here. And I look and you look at it, you're like, I recognize that, I know this, and listen to what she says.
All the action.
Which was that? The Birds?
That's the Birds.
The Birds,
yes.
Yeah.
The one underneath that is Goodfellas.
And this is Goodfellas, which is one of my favorite movies. And this is...
So you guys have all seen Goodfellas. I mean, who hasn't? You're not in America.
I haven't.
If you haven't. And you just, all right, he's off the stage. You haven't seen Goodfellas for real? You can't tell me that. You can't even joke like, don't even joke like
don't
that.
even joke
I
like
haven't. I have
What?
Jason's going to be up late tonight.
Jason, tomorrow night, your goal is to watch Goodfellas. I won't hear any of the crap about it. You
Okay.
need to watch it. Watch it with the kids, too. It's a great movie for them. But anyway, she talks about this.
Just a beautiful scene with it. And who's your helper here?
Oh, this is Trixie Lou. She goes everywhere I do, and she approves each painting. It doesn't go out the door unless she says so.
That's for you, Bruce.
Let's, if maybe we could take a little walk around.
Yeah,
You can
so-
show a painting, and I'll give us an explanation.
My typical work is side of the
Buc-ee's?
road,
Is that a Buc-ee's?
in between moments. The place.
No, she finds these dilapidated places and paints them, and it's yeah, you know, if it was Buc-ee's, there would be 200 more of those.
Places that we all know and have our own personal stories attached to, but we rarely have a chance to stop and enjoy them because we're on our way somewhere. So these are the types of places that I've painted for a long time.
You know, it's kind of the beauty of the forgotten architecture
Yeah.
Well, it's like 7 feet across too. It's a huge painting.
of the road and
Yep.
travel. You know, this one over here, this barn really struck
That's
me.
awesome.
Because you see these
Isn't that cool?
barns with
That's
all the
awesome.
different colored wood that just, you know, and sometimes it's painted, sometimes it's just the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe explain that one a little bit for us.
Yeah, I saw that barn when I was moving to Texas, and it just felt like if you walk through the center of that, you find a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, I'm very interested in archetypes, and this barn really represented like the barn of barns.
Oh, it's
Stuff that real
And
quick.
it produces vivid memories in people. They remember, like I had one woman who was in her late 90s, saw a barn like that I had made, and she said, I can smell my grandmother's
Oh,
hay,
boy.
the hay,
Yeah.
the hay in my grandmother's, and I was thinking, wow, that's, you know,
Well, it's a moment in history, and this is what art
Yeah.
is, and this is, you know, this is why I love doing cars, because every car has a story. And everyone said, my grandfather had one of those, or we drove around those. That was my first car.
yep.
And barns and architectures. That looks like, is that a Texas? It looks kind of a Texas landscape.
That was
or-
actually in California, but it could
California?
be anywhere, and that's what I like to paint at these places that everybody can feel has a personal story
Sure.
and a personal attachment. And
Stop that
I
real
love
quick.
those personal
Stop that real
stories.
quick. What's impressive about this interview and her art right there is not because it's just random pictures of barns and car washes and this or that. This is actually, it's automotive because this is what you pass by when you're
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of freaking nowhere, when you're in the middle of America and you're looking at this stuff. These are things that you see.
It's drive-by
not-
art.
Yeah, it's not just like, you know, some obscure thing that's hanging, you know, on somebody's wall or something like that. This is stuff that you actually go by and you go like, I can see inside that barn right now. That's how cool this art is. This is how you've opened up my eyes.
And well, all of her art was like that. It drew me in because it was like, you know, every single one of her paintings, you've been there. Every one
Yeah.
of them. You're like, oh, I know that place, but you don't because you
And
never
that's
have.
part of why I'm so excited to paint cars. You know, I do a lot of custom work,
Yeah.
and so, you know, people, especially those that you'll find at Barrett-Jackson, are really passionate about the stories behind their cars, you know, the cars that they've owned for their grandfather's car, or so many different stories. So it's fun to paint those. And
What's beautiful is it's not, you know, you're not just cars. This one struck me too. You know.
The
That
beach
was-
one
I-
was
I
awesome.
used to go to Cape Cod quite a bit, so the ocean.
That's
is really
cool. That
something
thing's
to
what,
me.
10 foot
And
long?
that just,
Yeah.
I
It was like 10
feel,
feet
I
long.
can smell the
Like 2 by
air
10.
Yep.
in that picture. I can feel the slats on your legs that you get.
Yes.
When you sit on the one that doesn't have the.
Yes.
It's just beautiful. So let's look around the corner. I'd love to have you show us
Yeah.
the Jaguar you were talking about,
Yep,
the race car.
This is the Jaguar. I saw this
I'm
near
gonna
near my
Huge
home
painting.
in Austin, Texas.
That is an awesome
Come
painting.
back on it.
Yep,
Let me get your name up there. Do you have a website?
I do. RachelDory.com.
Rachel
Just
So that painting is the most mundane picture.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I mean, as a piece of art, there was really not a lot to it, but because it's so plain, that's all of the story. And then the fact that she had no idea that this car was one of 3 multi-million-dollar that she had. Well, like you said, it was a drive-by. She was just driving by and saw it. And that's what I love about her stuff, because it's just these slice of life moments.
like my name.
Dory.com.
Yep.
Spelled conventionally.
That's right. That's exactly right.
So what are you looking to get for out of
So,
this show?
she talks a little bit more about the show and some other things like that. But I'm going to fast forward through a little bit of some of the other stuff we were talking about here, so we can see after, because the rest of this is
I
just.
want to see that one that's right there in the back. Does she talk about that apartment complex right
No,
there?
no, she doesn't.
Oh
But
man, let me tell you something. I just want to make a comment about that picture right there.
I'm going
I
to
don't
mute it
know
and
where-
let it go
I don't
through.
know where I've seen it. I don't know where I've seen it before.
Been there
But
though, haven't you?
it's one of those things where you go like, that looks like it's from Old Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Basically.
This
It's
too,
awesome. That's
right there.
awesome, dude.
We've
Yeah,
we've all stood on that railing somewhere at some point in our life,
yeah.
and this.
That's cool. Yeah. How many times you've been on the side yard of somebody's going down the street or in somebody's whatever, industrial zone. And there it is.
In this one, I'll turn the volume back up because she starts talking about I talk about, it's a whole different feel.
The squares and things up there.
All the
Just
rectangles
love
and the
style.
Yeah.
Very.
It's almost like a
simple.
brick wall, but it's not.
This one's cool too. Look at that. I gotta get way down for this one. There.
Yeah,
you go.
these are 6 feet across.
Big.
I mean, they're
That's
huge
probably,
paintings.
4.5,
That's
5
crazy.
feet across.
Yeah.
These are large scale paintings, and it's just
So there it is. There, that's the one
Yeah.
there. But I do go over to it. So let's
interesting to me. Just
there. So
Everybody's been
Almost
there.
looks like from a movie or a TV show.
this one wasn't. This was just some motel that's by
You know
her.
what this was? You know what this was? From The Jerk. This is from The Jerk, where he's going like,
Yep.
the shithead dog.
It is. It is a very, it's exactly what it is. Look at
well
that.
That's another
staged
movie
back
I have
in
to
the
watch,
day,
too.
those kind
But this was her stuff. I mean, she did really cool. This was from a movie too. I can't remember exactly which one it was. Oh no, maybe this was just one of her commissions. But anyway, so that's Rachel Dory. She was one of the ones that was really cool.
That's really cool. That's really
And
cool.
next up, I interviewed Sean Connery. So this dude was so freaking cool that his name was Arthur Benjamins, and he was originally from Australia or New Zealand or something like that. And his artwork was really cool, super vibrant, like completely different than the last one we saw. His was super bright colors, vibrant, not a lot of shading, not a lot of like super feel to it, but awesomely detailed, very graphic, almost like racing posters, because he used to being a race car driver. So this is his
Next
story.
up, we've got Arthur Benjamin's One Pilgrim Studio. This work here, his artwork.
Isn't that
stopped
cool?
me in my
That's
tracks
Alice
to
Cooper.
walk by because it's
Yeah.
so clean. This is Arthur, and welcome to Barrett-Jackson. This is my first time here. I know it's not your first time. So a little bit about you. Where are you from? And how did you end up at Barrett-Jackson? How many shows have you been to here?
Well, I started off as a frustrated racing driver who combined
It's Sean
art-
Connery.
It's Sean fucking Connery. I'm like, and behind the curtain, Q was back there, and Moneypenny, the whole group was there.
I
Just
never
doesn't
really
have a
looked back
martini in his
since.
hand.
So what I've been able to do is build up enough color and tension and excitement through my work. I now paint on wood.
I will say this too. He was like, "Oh, you don't want to interview me. I'm terrible at interviews. I'm doing an awful job." And his wife is sitting there. "Oh dear, you'll do fine." I'm like, "Look, I'll ask the questions. I'm not. There's no gotchas, no anything." And he comes out like he's been doing this forever. I mean,
Did he say he was painting on wood?
Yeah, these are all painted on wood, like panels, wooden panels.
Gotcha.
I used to paint on canvas, not anymore. I find that wood and the acrylic medium that I use is far better, far more enjoyable, which makes me able to work with much more determination involved with the sport. I've been doing Barrett-Jackson now for about 10 years, but the main thing is to get this energy through. And the fact is that my work is utterly unique. The painting on my shoulder here is a fictitious movie poster of an existing event which happened in 1955, the Mille Miglia,
Yeah.
between Sterling Moss and Dennis Jenkins and the co-driver.
Legends.
And that painting's like 3 foot by 5 foot tall, somewhere around there, just to give you an idea. It's huge.
That's quite right. So I built it into a fictitious movie poster, and the painting on the right, Race to Victory, is something similar. Although I've not painted in, I've made an idea of having a name and having all the associated race drivers of that period to come in with it. But it doesn't mean that the client wants that particular. They can have their own film, their own title, and their own people, so themselves, their family members, their dogs, their cats, their children, their grandchildren. So I think it's an ideal way of promoting my work as something unique and out of the box in a blue sky manner.
It really stands out. I mean, and to stand out here, that's saying something.
And just funny, if you look behind me, there's an actual GT40 in the Gulf livery from the 60s behind me. That I'm not even talking about that, but you can see it.
Talking about the tension, this one really does it. I mean, there is so much tension in this of just, you can just feel the speed. And
Absolutely.
It's so simple. I mean,
It is simple, it's stark, effective. I was given a beautiful compliment some years back when a gentleman visitor said that I make white look like a color, which makes it so more roomy and area. Now, another thing that I've done, not just with this particular painting, but with other paintings, is to imbue upon the car a sort of advertising. So if someone wanted to promote their business, their work, I could put a logo of their company on my car.
This is great because he thought that way, because he was an old race car driver. He thinks about sponsorships and doing things like that in his artwork, which was great. So he shows you what he did.
And I've done so with this one, Grand Prix Originals USA. That's not on the car, but I put it in there. And
But look at how perfectly clean and tight all that stuff is.
It
But
looks like
still,
it's part of the car.
yeah, I mean,
No,
but
you can see the tires rotating, man. You can just, yeah.
I mean, it's awesome stuff.
it just fits absolutely perfectly.
That's seamless. It blends right in.
Yes.
I would have never known if you had told me.
What
In this
price
one here,
range
this is
are we
just
talking here? If I wanted to buy something cheap, what's the cheapest thing that I could buy on his wall?
Prints. You could buy prints there for about $100. So
What
if you
about
wanted to buy an original, that's $3,500 to $5,000 for those paintings.
Wow, crazy.
Another reason I want to be there, because you can sell them there and get that money. You know, a small town in Wisconsin, it's hard to get $1,000 for something, but not at this place.
Tell us a little bit about this.
What was that?
Probably get a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I probably get a lot of Bitcoin out there.
Lola?
No, it's a McLaren.
McLaren, okay.
Canon McLaren in the days when they were exceptionally professional and they still are professional, but exceptionally successful in that period. But that's a car which is made out of aluminium, made an honest to God car, honest to God suspension, off the shelf, and these guys drove them. And when you actually strip the bodywork off, it's just one big circus of aluminium and wiring and cables and one big enormous engine in the back.
Yeah.
And the quest was for that sport, they said, it's got to have 4 wheels, they've got to be covered, any engine you want. There's got to be 2 seats, 1 driver.
See, but this is the thing with artwork and guys that you can tell that he's passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's talking about the rules for that car in the 60s that you can, and it was a certain, I can't remember, one of the Formula 2 or Formula 3, whatever it was, but you can do anything you want. It was just wide open. It's just like the wheels have to be covered and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And the rest was history. McLaren came over. Lola, I think, if I remember well, were the first champions. Then McLaren took over, and then basically Porsche came afterwards and stole the whole scene away.
What you're doing right now is the beauty. You're like me. I go way off base. We're come here to talk about the art, and we end up talking about cars and racing.
That's
and
right.
There's a passion, and I found this with all of I'm talking with the rest of the artists that are here, the 7 or 8 of them, and it's a common thread. There's a passion. Yeah. It's a combination.
The historical aspect.
That's his wife.
Stunning.
She's a sweetheart.
Everything I'm interested in has an historic aspect and a historic base. That's so very important.
These are all moments in time.
Absolutely.
And even if it's just created, these are moments in time.
It's a still, and the beauty.
I love that Alice one though.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes, he's got the red in there instead of the black.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just his.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that a lot of his paintings, it looks extremely simple, but extremely detailed at the same time.
Yeah. He just had a great style.
The beautiful thing is that they're like words from a ballad, a song, a poetry. Once they're spoken, they can never be unspoken. They're there in the ether forevermore. It's an energy, it's out there, it's here to look at, it's there to experience, even if you're not on my booth or in front of my work.
Exactly. Now let's talk a little bit about the work. What's your medium? You said you're working on board. It looks
Yes.
like oil, acrylic, mixed media. What do you like?
I used to use enamel paint when I lived in the UK. Very colourful, takes hours to dry, so there's no spontaneity with it, well, which I can do with the acrylic work. And the acrylic paints they have these days.
So he kind of gets in the noodles of the painting and stuff like that. We don't need to go all through, but it was just another guy there that had some really neat stuff. And I just, as soon as he started opening his mouth, I'm like, I'm talking to Sean Connery. I couldn't get past it.
So that's Steve McQueen in the back. That's
Yeah.
the painting.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Man, that looked like a photograph.
Yeah, they and these things did. I mean, I shot all this on my phone, you guys. I didn't have a 4K camera or anything like that, so it's all shot on an iPhone. And yeah, his work was really, really, really neat. I think what we can do. I'm going to jump to Tom Fritz right now because he's like one of my heroes.
So next up,
and this is Tom Fritz. He did a line of postage stamps of muscle cars a few years back. You'll see him. It was like 2013. He has them in there. But
let's talk about number one, your history with Tom Fritz and how you came to appreciate his stuff and how he became your mentor.
Yeah, well, he's I wouldn't say mentor, but just because this is the first time I ever met him.
No, his influence. Your
influence for sure. I followed his work for a long time, and in the late 90s, I did a drawing for a guy that was an art dealer of automotive art. He'd go to all the different shows and things like that and sell. He had a gallery, that was moving gallery, and he only sold a high-end art. And he had one of the prints that Tom Fritz had done, and it's called "How You Doing?" and it's a picture of a 32 Ford kind of pulled over to the side of the road by a farm and a bunch of flowers, and there's a fence with a gas can next to it, like he ran out of gas, and he's talking to an old guy on a tractor. And it's just called "How You Doing, Son?" That's the name of it. All of his paintings have goofy names. He has one he talks about in this video. It's hilarious. Mm-hmm. But as a painter and an artist, an illustrator and a car guy, I was always drawn to his work, and a lot of his stuff, if you can see in the background. So if you're listening online, again, go and watch this on the somewhere where you can see it.
Yeah, YouTube
or Rumble. Because he does a lot of this aircraft art. So if you can see in the background, kind of just over to the top right there under his name, Tom Fritz, is like a B-17.
That's cool.
Flying over.
And a couple of roadsters underneath.
With a couple of roadsters underneath going at it. Well, it turns out that he worked he worked on some of this stuff. So I'll let him tell his story. But this was a fun interview. And he's one of the most well-known automotive artists in the world. So he's, in Rembrandt territory when it comes to the automotive art guys. His work is these aren't $2,000 paintings. These are $40,000 paintings.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite artists in the entire world, one of the most inspiring people. This is Tom Fritz. He's working on his painting right here. Probably one of the most prolific painters. What are you working on here? Then this is oils?
He had 3 paintings he was doing there at the show. So this one here that he's working on, this little dragster, he just started like the day before or something like that. He had 3 paintings going right at the show, and he's just working on it.
This is oils.
Oils.
Hello, art lovers. Welcome to my booth. I'm Tom Fritz.
So it's is it tomfritz.com is your website, correct?
No, it's fritzart.com.
Fritzarts.com. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. You can go there and order, and he's got tons of prints and things on there. His work is simply incredible, and I've been a follower of yours and a customer of yours with prints and stuff that you've had for many, many years. Mm-hmm. You've been a huge inspiration to me, so I'm kind of excited to finally meet you this time. And I appreciate just giving me a minute. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from and how did you get into doing the automotive art?
I am born and raised in San Fernando Valley, California, and been doing this my whole life. I went to school, got my degree in art, and I went into the defense industry and painted aircraft and land vehicles and naval vessels.
How cool is that?
Soldiers and Marines and Air Forcemen and sailors. And during the days I would work on the easel for companies like ITT and Litton and Northrop.
Those are some old
nights
companies, ITT.
Yeah.
Back on the high wire and do my hot rod art. Hot rods were always a part of the culture and the backgrounds in the San Fernando Valley. And
You know, and during all this was his. So he had a lot of people, you know, like literally like standing behind me watching this whole thing, like I was some press. So you can hear a lot of noise in the background. I got to hand it to Rode Wireless Go 2s for cutting through all of the enormous amount of noise in this place and making it so you could actually hear these people.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of Xanax would have
When I
helped
was
your
Yeah.
high school, it was all about muscle cars, and then I went to college and took myself out of the daily realm of life and became a student, and then later worked for the bomb factories. And
The bomb
in
factories.
the meantime, I did this at home, and one day all of this took over from the day job, and so
Isn't that
I
insane?
made the break and became a fine artist.
Well, that explains something, because I've noticed something with your art. You have there is an aerospace and automotive hot rod feel that's a theme, like you can see right here on this one here.
So
Dude,
look at that shit.
that is just unbelievable.
You know,
How
Go
much
ahead.
was that one?
I'm not sure how much that one was, but a lot of them said ask for price, which means 5 figures.
When you interviewed this guy, it was like me interviewing, you know, some of the people that I saw over at the Back to the 50s. It's like you're so enamored with
Fangirling. I was totally fangirling. I mean, it was hard to get words out.
right. So that's what the thing is, you know, with podcasting, and sometimes when we have our guests on, sometimes it seems like, you know, we're really enamored sometimes by the guests that we have on, and I can see that with us. And even when I'm just interviewing you, Ken, some of the times I just go like, man, I'm so enamored by what you do.
That's
and
kind.
what you're doing. You know, it's just like I said, you know, you see a picture like we're looking at now, this B-52 bomber over a couple of freaking
B-17. So for
B-17.
those listening, this is a World War II bomber flying in sunset.
It's just dude, I mean, yeah, sure, it looks like a sunset, but it also looks like it's some kind of a war. I mean, there's so many things that you can look into this picture and imagine at the same time, but also the essence of the speed and the power that's coming out of this thing, man, is freaking incredible.
And he talks about that right now too.
That's No Louder Thunder. It's a B-17 with a couple of hot rods just going at it, and the B-17 is sneaking up behind them. So it's just a painting about excitement, and I push the composition and the color to accentuate that.
That's extreme.
Your use of light and shadow and light angle and it's just spectacular. This is
As
the one right
a
below it.
non-artist, can I diminish the moment by talking about the big ass behind Ken?
The what?
The big ass behind Ken.
It's the big ass sign behind you.
Yes. So it's funny. That's big ass fans. If you've ever seen the fans that are in some of these huge places, that's what it's called. It's the big ass fan.
Big ass fan. No,
They're like 10 feet across.
I've been drinking and now I'm an infant. I'm an infant. So just
I like that. I didn't notice that before. Usually I'd pick that up.
It's just spectacular. This is the one right below it. Now you have a P-38 Lightning.
So look at this one below it. Completely different, but same idea. You know,
Right.
two P-38 Lightnings coming in. It's a 34 Ford and a 32, or 33 Ford and a 32 Ford.
In a thunderstorm.
In a 30,
Yeah.
is
And
it
you can see that thunderstorm
33?
coming down and the water
You see
splash.
the rain.
Because you can feel the water splash. I can smell the wet asphalt, dude.
And just the propellers. I mean, look at his propellers on that plane just spinning, just ready to cut up whatever gets in front of it.
Being a 32.
Correct. 5 windows.
Yep.
Yep.
So what a great juxtaposition with all this stuff.
Look at that
It's
one
just
burning
fabulous.
flames.
And
so
while
it's
I'm at the
insane.
show here, in the quiet moments, I work on my paintings here on the wall, so people can see that I work vertically. They can see how I work.
So you can see he's got his picture next to him for reference. It's
What
a
do you mean-
black and
What does he mean work vertically? Standing up?
Standing
yes.
up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
So that's
So
the way
he's-
like
He's putting the color in without having color.
right. So the picture's a black and white picture, and he's just figuring that shit out.
working horizontally is something very different for an artist.
Truth.
Here's my brushes. Here's the way I use my paints. They're oil paints. And these are the other 2 paintings that I've been working on here at the show.
Yeah, at the show. So he's just doing. I'm just gonna do this at the show.
That's not paint by number.
I started this on Friday.
Yeah, he started that on Friday. I'm there Saturday afternoon.
Oh,
And he finished that.
And Here's the other one. I started this
twin
on
mill.
Sunday. The twin mill, yes.
Absolutely. What a beautiful. I love.
I mean, look at the feel of the light, and you can just feel the time of day and almost smell the air, around it. Just because he captured atmosphere somehow.
Crazy.
Just the subtleties, the very little subtleties right here. I'm going to not touch it, but you can just touch see the red line tire.
See that little red line tire in there, Bruce?
Yep, just
barely.
Yep.
Custom made, I
Really
believe.
see it.
I don't know if it was Michelin or good. Someone
That's
custom
too
made those
cool.
tires for
That's
the
just
car.
too cool, man. I'm so impressed.
Capturing those little details.
This guy's incredible.
And it's just I know you're busy. Here we go. A lot of people behind that want to talk to him and stuff. But I just thank you so much for your time, for
My
just
pleasure.
a few minutes of being able to talk to one of my
He walks
idols.
around and
They
shows
say
us the stamps
A lot
next.
of times you don't want to meet your heroes. Well, I can tell you, this has been a pure pleasure. We had quite a talk yesterday. And again, I just really thank you. If someone wants to buy or commission or get some prints, because of course he sells prints.
So those are
how do they
150
find
bucks.
Fritzart.com is the website, and I'm also on Facebook and Instagram.
you? Excellent. So I will also put links below in this video so you can go.
Yeah, his Instagram is off the hook. So if you go to Tom Fritz Instagram, you can see all this stuff.
Right
So
to there, so you don't have any questions about it. But I implore you to get some of this work. It is just incredible. I did a little walkthrough earlier. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. These are the, in 2013 and 2022, I did the muscle car stamps
Yes.
and the pony car
The
stamps.
stamps.
Oh,
This was
wow.
really cool.
They were
Look at
forever
these.
stamps.
Wow.
brother, you
U.S.
can-
Postal Service?
Yep.
Wow.
So he got commissioned
I'm
to do all
serious.
these stamps.
Are those still available? I mean, I've seen some in collectors online.
They would be like on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find.
Look at that painting right there with the sun in the hot rod coming out. It's just on the dry lakes desert down in California. I mean, he's a California guy, Bruce. You got to know all these places.
Yeah, I
'cause
know all these
them
places.
for sale.
But beautiful
think
work and the motorcycle work, the board
Harley
track.
Davidsons.
So before it
Velodrome,
closed,
you got
I
a
went to the
little
American
velodrome there
Motorcycle
going on.
Yeah, see the old board track one, and
Museum
Little velodrome,
in
yeah.
Anamosa, Iowa. And
Okay,
they had
right.
built a board track there, a quarter of a board track, and they had the
Right.
bikes there. It's one of the things I'm working on right now.
but look at the bikers just kind of sitting around in the sunset at the at the flying A service place. I mean, it's awesome
16
shit.
Thor, just the motor of it. It's a big portrait, but this one right here, the lighting. Tell us a
This painting was
Brando.
awesome.
Brando.
It wasn't though. This is a friend of his. He tells
bit
us
about
he tells the story, and it's
this
hilarious.
painting, because this
Oh,
is
this-
truly spectacular.
This is a good friend of mine and a client, and he has the motorcycle. It's a big tank Crocker, and he wanted me to paint it, and he was the model for it, and it has a lot of personal meaning to him regarding his father and his father's service during the war. But in making this painting, a lot of times,
So you remember Spinal Tap? Everyone's seen Spinal Tap here.
Yep. I've seen
So
it.
he was. It's just simple lines intertwining. Remember that part in the song? What do you call this? Oh, this piece is called "Lick My Love Pump." When he told me what the name of this painting was, I had that same reaction. So you'll listen to the end of this. He'll tell you what the name of the painting is. I laughed my ass off.
you look for the landscape that bike is going to be sitting in, the stage, if you will. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to put the bike in the inner Los Angeles area where the Crocker factory building was. And I went down and I found some of the old alleyways, and I basically just put the bike in an alleyway down in the
Wow.
gritty part of Los Angeles.
Isn't that cool?
Like it would
Kind of
have
like
been.
the same thing you do.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's perfect. And it's a Crocker.
It's a
and
Crocker.
a Crocker was a rare bike. They were very fast for the day.
Right.
Really interesting and highly sought after today.
But yeah, it's just all about
It always helps when you know what the hell the subject matter is when you're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
composition and light bouncing around, and
The
just had a
chrome,
blast with it.
I love doing chrome. The chrome on here.
Look at that!
Damn, that looks awesome.
Isn't that
Looks
just,
like a painting, or
in-
like a photograph.
yeah, and when you get close to it, it's just like random brush strokes, and I mean, it's just so cool.
Holy cow.
Is absolutely jumps off the page at you. That little burst of warm light over the cool lights of the cool reflection of the sky and the chrome.
What I did here was I wanted that last golden hour, few moments of the day. So you've got the rider and the top part of the bike in full sunlight, and then it slowly goes down to sensitive grays down here in the shadow, where the sun is starting to set. And the title of the piece is A Skilled User of Tobacco and Cuss Words.
I came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, that's great.
The skilled user of tobacco and cuss words. I like that.
Yeah, for that gorgeous painting, and you're like, what else would you name it? It's exactly what
titles.
Thank you.
The painting I have, we don't have a picture of it here. It's called "How You Doing."
That's the one in the kitchen, Bruce. You were here and you saw it. You guys have both seen that painting.
How You Doing, son?
Yep.
And it's a 32 Roadster, kind of parked off to the side of the road with a gas can next to it, and the gentleman that was driving the car is up against a fence talking to a gentleman on a tractor. That's, it's kind of one of those, do you have any gas? It has a different story every time I look at it and why he's there. And you were told me that was your father that you actually used to model.
Right.
And that's pretty incredible.
I use friends, family members, pizza delivery boys, whoever, any model that'll work for cheap. I usually just grab them and put them in a piece.
So I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll let you go back to it.
So that was Tom Fritz. What a guy. I mean, just super mellow and just like, yeah, I paint these things and I think about it, And I love that.
Well, I thought you were getting ready to leave, and then he just goes, no, come here.
Come on, let's, yeah.
So freaking cool, dude.
There was such a crowd there, too, of people around him. So, Bruce, this is a surprise now for you. This was something, I don't know if you guys have ever seen when you take, there's guys that take like wood and they put some liquid or water on it, and then they put like 20,000 volts to it, and it's like lightning comes out and burns.
Oh, yep, I've seen that.
And then they do that. Well, this guy was there, and I was looking.
Uh-oh.
We're looking at
Ken.
Looking at what?
I think
Ken, we're on the seat of our pants, or on the edge of our seat.
It didn't click. So Bruce, look it.
Oh, look at that.
He's a luthier, so he makes his own guitars that are amazing. They were like $3,500.
What is he doing there?
So he's going to tell you the story. This guy was super cool.
It's one of the most unique and creative ways of making art with wood and sustainable products here from the Midwest, or from the Southwest. I mean, I'm from the Midwest.
From Arizona.
Yeah, so he's down here in Arizona, and he creates these guitars. And
this guy was made for selling in person. He was made for it. And he saw me with a camera talking to someone 3 booths down, and he comes over. Hey, come on over. You're going to talk to me. I mean, super guy.
Charcuterie boards down here. And why don't you tell us, first of all, where you're from and how did you get into this? And then let's talk a little bit about the process.
Right. So I actually live, and my shop is in North Peoria, Arizona. I'm a local artist here. And the process is all the wood that you see here are found within 10 to 15 miles around this area. I get calls from tree services. They ask me to recover the logs. I haul them out to my shop. I have a sawmill. I cut, and then I make live edge tables all the way to custom handmade, hand-cut guitars, electric guitars.
Aren't those gorgeous?
Awesome,
I mean,
dude.
Holy hell.
This is so fucking cool.
So people can see what the guitar is, of course. That's pretty obvious, and they're beautifully shaped. They're really interesting. But if you look at this one, I'm going to look at this one because this is particularly interesting. So this isn't hand-carved.
Look at the detail.
Ken,
Strat, man.
How did you not have a hard on in that?
Oh, I did. It was just banging. It was banging into stuff.
Okay.
This is
At Barrett, there's people just walking around with boners all the time. It's just how it works.
Yeah, it's just you're always getting poked.
He's got a PRS.
So the design on the guitar body and all the art here, it's called the fractal art burning. So what I do is I apply conductive solution on the board, and I electrocute the wood at 20,000 volts, and it creates a lightning strike in slow motion.
Jeez.
art with wood. And
Oops, damn it.
And why don't you tell?
So yeah, lightning strike in slow motion. That's that was that made perfect
First of all,
sense.
where you're from,
Sorry,
Within 10 to 15 miles around this area.
I'll jump
hand
ahead.
carved in here. This is used from it's an electrolysis. So maybe you'll explain a little bit how
Sure.
you do this.
So the design on the guitar body and all the art here, it's called the fractal art burning. So what I do is I apply conductive
It's
solution on
also
the board,
killed a lot of
and
people.
I electrocute
I'm
the
sure.
wood at 20,000 volts, and it creates a lightning strike in slow motion.
This is
Randomly,
in,
so
is,
not
is
one
this in
part
the
here
is
is
this
alike,
in
and that's
the
what makes it so unique.
the wood itself?
Products here from the Midwest.
He,
or
he
from
did
this-
not carve this. He did not carve that in.
No, that it's just the so they put you've got a solution on the like water, and you put
It's following the grain. So it's
positive
following
on one side, negative on the other. Path of least resistance burns,
Mhm.
and it's really cool.
wow.
So it's let me get up to here. There we go.
To get the exact how incredible this is, and then he has a process.
Well,
the
then he
neck,
fills
too.
it with- he fills it
So
with,
after I
with powder
fractal
coat, right?
burn,
Yeah, he starts talking about that part now.
I
Resin.
clean the char remains, and then I drop in epoxy
Oh,
and
It's resin.
different pigments to make it more unique art.
And you said that you do quite a bit. Everything's custom made. So if you
Ye-
wanted something custom made, where would they go to find you?
They'll find me at in North Peoria, a company called GC Creative Works, and for the custom guitars, it would be called Gihan Guitars.
And when I post this video up, I'll be sure to put the links below, so you guys don't have to remember that. I'll have a link for you. You can just go right to it. But look at
Does
the
he have
how
any commissioned
incredibly
guitars out there?
Beautiful.
What commissioned guitars he's got people playing? It's a good
Yeah.
question. I should have asked him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he mentioned that someday. He's got a couple people that you'd know that have.
Okay.
I can't remember who they were
This
though.
stuff
All
is.
right.
I mean,
I'll look it up.
it's
I'll look it up for sure.
it's magic. It is really truly.
gotta be
magic.
out
I'm
there.
going to get right in there so you can see the detail. There we go. Look at that. I mean, you're
150
this
for that
every
cross.
little nuance.
Yeah.
You get a focus.
Oh, the guitars were $3-4 grand.
Look at
Jesus.
that. It's just
That's cheap.
incredible. The
Yeah,
detail.
it's not bad for a
That
handmade.
is
That's
actually
cheap. That's really cheap.
drop-in.
So look at that, Bruce. It's
Sustainable
a
products
oh
here
for
from the
God's
Midwest.
sakes. I hate this program, you guys. Sorry, I'm messing things up here.
What are you talking about? The guitar holder?
No, yeah, the guitar holder. And it's got his that right there.
Turquoise from Kingman. So
Really?
we can also do any type of.
So that's turquoise in there that you're seeing.
Turquoise. He laid turquoise in.
Yeah, this turquoise laid in there.
That's freaking cool.
Local turquoise.
Specialty rocks or seashells, whatever the client wants, I
This
can
is
custom make it.
fantastic. And
Wow.
I'll have you
Jesus.
stand there. I'm going to come around the side because
All
you were
right.
showing me this earlier. So these are charcuterie boards, and this wood there's two kinds of wood here.
This
so what's
is
this one?
this is mesquite, desert mesquite. This is desert olive.
This is a desert olive, and now has an inset here with the epoxied in shells.
Seashells from Kauai,
Look at that
Maui,
grain.
and Big Island.
And then of course the electronic, the lightning, the slow
That's
motion
awesome.
light. I love it. Can you would flip this over for me?
Yeah,
earlier.
sure.
Can we see the back of this? 'Cause
Oh, you give 'em a
even
card
the
too,
backs
Ken.
of these are
Nice.
so beautifully
Yeah.
finished, and look at that grain in there. It's just incredible. So
That's
what
awesome,
a
dude.
what a talent and a great idea. And I mean,
My favorite thing he
prolific
had, I
in
show
what
here in
he's
a
doing.
minute.
Look at all this. It's fantastic.
Let me
You
know
know,
if you have
over
any
here you've
questions.
got-
Okay.
Some wonderful. I
Look
love
at-
this right here. I probably won't order these here.
It's a magnetic gun holder.
That is.
So he puts a
awesome.
magnet there. You just and you put the gun up there. It's great.
On the
Yeah,
United
that's
States
awesome.
map.
Thank you so much.
All kinds of great stuff to show. So I really appreciate it. Again, give me your website one more time.
gccreativeworks.com or gihanguitars.com.
And will you ship anywhere? in
Yes,
the
I
country?
can ship. Yes.
Wonderful. He's also a luthier and he makes these guitars.
Yep,
So
from
he
start
plays
to
these
be- yep.
guitars. So he knows it, loves it, and lives it. So I'm Ken. Thanks.
So that I thought you'd like that guy. Not a
Yeah.
car thing, but he really had some cool stuff going on there.
Ken, this was
yeah.
really awesome, dude.
Yeah.
This was freaking awesome, man. I just thank you for freaking sharing all that, man. I'm sure you got tons more. I've been posting as much as I can on my Facebook and sharing your videos. Because first of all, you're a good art. You're an awesome artist yourself.
Well, thank you.
But also at the same time, man, you have so many people that you meet at these shows, and you've got so many artists that you've seen, and believe me, man, it's an education that I'm getting just being around artistic people. It's freaking pretty cool.
Well, and I do too. I do too. It's you learn from everyone has a little different style, different thing. And the one thing that was beautiful about it is there wasn't competition there, because people are buying, they have their favorite artist, but they'll buy from everybody. And, I'll be putting these videos out on my YouTube page. It's just Maddk Studio. You'll see it on my YouTube page. I'll do the final edited ones. So this was the first shot out of the gate. Cause I told Bruce when I was down there, I said, let's do a show. But I want to just talk about the artists because everyone else talks about all the cars and the rich people doing rich people things.
Right.
I wanted to talk to, and most of these guys had been there for 5, 10, 15 years. And it's well worth it. And they've built a nice community of artists that they all learn from each other. So I hope that I was able to bring that out a little bit. And that's why I was there.
No, it's special for sure, man. I really thank you for sharing that with us, man. It's just what a neat episode 51, dude. That's freaking cool. And like I said, I encourage you guys that are on there at the audio to go over to YouTube or Rumble and get the live stream of this, get the video of it, because just listening to audio just doesn't give you the essence of what we just looked at. I mean, even if you're not into art, this can pull you in. I mean, like I said, I've known some artists before. I was kind of into a little bit of art before I met Ken, but now I'm really into art, and I really notice things when I pass something or pass somebody who does art, and I look at it, I'm going like, yeah, that's freaking cool. And art is just something that opens up your mind, opens up everything, your emotions, your feelings, everything. And you can just, like I said, that one Thunderbolt with the hot rods and the P41 or something that you said was over it.
P38. Yep.
I could smell the asphalt and the rain.
Yeah.
It was that enticing to me as a piece of art. It's crazy.
Well, I was thinking about all you guys for this too, and Jason, you especially, because Jason him and I went to the same actual art school. So, what were your thoughts on that? Do you see anything that you wouldn't have expected in there, or?
Well, Fritz, was it Tom Fritz?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tom Fritz. Some of his paintings reminded me of one of my first instructors at MCAD with some of his art, because it was just freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually looked up my my old instructor, and I guess he does children's books now and is working at the University of Iowa. But yeah, holy hell.
Right.
Really cool stuff. I mean, I'm just looking at that, and it's just like, I'm not into painting at all. I mean, the only kind of painting I really did back in the day was airbrush, but even painting like that, like what you do, I can't. That stuff is a lot of talent.
Well, it's an addiction. I got back here and I could not get to my drawing desk fast enough. I mean, I was, after watching all those guys and what they're doing, and it was fun. In the world of marketing, artists are absolutely horseshit at it. But if you can get them to talk about their art, they can go on for hours. And so I'm going to do a whole line of, because this was you just saw a few of them. I did 6 or 7 interviews there. There was 10 or 12 people there that I'm going to do interviews with later, Zoom call interviews, long format. And we'll get some links to that through here too. But it was just overall, as a car guy and an artist, it was a pretty epic event to be there for just two days. And so I was glad that I could get something done and we can get it out there so people can see other side of what happens at these things.
Christian, you're eerily silent.
He's drunk.
Well, that's part of it. Listen, I learned a long time ago that to do art, there's a certain level of commitment and talent that you have to really take the potential and make it become something. I am impressed when I see anybody who can do something pretty well. I am absolutely blown away by the way some people can take something simple, like, a couple of dozen shades of paint and a flat surface, and they can do with it. I'm looking at Tom Fritz's pictures right now, and I'm looking at one of it's a 66 GTO, and it looks like it's a picture. It doesn't look like it's a painting of a car. It looks like a picture. It's amazing. I'm blown away by.
You can go get in it and turn the key. Yeah.
Well, and
I can smell transmission fluid.
and
burnt tires. I can smell burnt. Sorry. It's a GTO. I can smell burnt tires.
Yeah.
Going back to what Christian said about it looks like a photograph, and with me talking about my old instructor, he had done some pictures of lava with Prismacolors, colored pencils, and the shit looked real.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah,
and it's all true. They always tell you in school, the really great artists that were teachers would tell you, just draw what you see. And it really is that simple, except it's not. It's like learning a new song. Just play what you hear. Well,
it's I my hand hear the whole thing. The guy saying, "I'm Jeff," or whatever. There you go. I pick up colored pencils, and I'm the Jeff guy.
Yeah. But it was great talking with all these folks, and it was nice for me to be able to walk among them as an equal, except for Tom, because he's made a career of it. And well, actually, most of these people are doing it in career. Two of them that I interviewed have day jobs, but it was cool to have them because you go up to them like, "Hey, I'm some schmuck with an iPhone. I want to talk to you about your art." Whatever. I had one lady ask me, "Well, how many followers do you have?" And that kind of thing. And at the end of it, I was able to just, here's my card. Here's my, I have my little cards with the picture on it, stuff like that. And they see that. And she was funny. She goes, "Oh, you're one of us." There we go. That was very sly. I see what you did there. And then she was a totally different human. She's like, "You're one of us." And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. Because I've got a regular gig, a job that I've had forever and raised family and stuff. So I got out of the whole art world, 30 years ago, kept doing it, but just for myself. And so to be able to be there around this level of artists at the same level, to be able to have that conversation was really great. It just shows, because I've just burnt myself out improving my craft and getting better and better and better and better. So when you see people that are even the next level from where you are, it just makes you so inspired to do more. Music's the same way. And I know you know that, Bruce. You play music, you see someone that sucks up on stage making money, and you're like, God,
yes, I know.
This. But you see someone that just rocks. You see some new kid coming up that's in some band at some stage in a local, and you're like, he's going places, and he ends up being Eddie Van Halen or something. It makes you want to go play.
Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cool. I know we're going super long on this, but
we got to go. But Ken, man, really thanks, and plug yourself in your particular studio, because you've got some awesome work too that you're working on, and we've seen all kinds of stuff. And just go ahead and get us out of here.
Maddkstudio.com. Maddkstudio.com. This is my new coloring book. This is book 2. There's 2 of them. I've got artwork on there for sale. From huge, large paintings like you see here behind me, that's one there I'm working on, to prints. So anywhere from $10 to a couple of $1,000s of art you can have. There's something in there for everyone. So go check it out. Maddkstudio.com, Maddk studio.com. And thanks for watching.
Go ahead, Jason. Pull us out too. Go ahead and plug yourself.
I'm Jason Horrible Designs. I sell mugs, t-shirts, vinyl decals, 20-ounce skinny tumblers. These are the metal ones. Shot glasses, drink koozies, drink coasters, mouse pads, magnets, stickers. You can find me at my website at horribledesigns.com. You can also find me at Amazon Handmade, Michael's Maker Place, eBay, Etsy, TikTok Shop, and Walmart.com.
Hey, Jason.
Custom work as well.
I was going to ask you, what if I wanted something custom done?
I do work with custom orders as well. And you can, if you're looking for a large order of mugs, you can actually go to my website and design it on my website yourself.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yes.
There you go. Christian.
You can check out my new website, onlydeadbodfans.com. We're working on the initial rollout. We've got all the dad bonds you can tolerate, and maybe just a touch more. And we'll just let it go with that.
There we go. And I'm Bruce McGee.
Tip your server.
Yeah.
Launching
You
soon.
can catch me at weatheredsoul.com. Buymeacoffee.com /weathersoul. That's buymeacoffee.com /weathersoul to go ahead and support us. I mean, we actually got a portal where you can throw us $1, you can throw us $25, you can throw us $100, you can throw us the big money, you can throw us $500 if you want to. But anyway, go to buymeacoffee.com /weathersoul to support this show. Like, share, subscribe to this show. If you found this show interesting and you want to share it with 4 friends, then share it with somebody you don't like. We're growing this podcast every day. Find us on X in the morning for our morning show, The Weathered View, live on X every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on your favorite podcast app, or join us actually on the live spaces. We'll bring you on and you can be a part of the show. But other than that, I'm going to let you go like I let you go every day and every weekend and every time we end a show. You guys have a great night, great weekend, great week, and be good to yourselves. We'll see you later, guys. Take care.